Just outside of the perimeter for the UKIP mass deportation march, and look how many police are here today. I mean, considering, oh, thank you, my friend, he just flipped me off just for filming. And hello, young Bob here. Went to muster point for the UKIP demonstration, and because of the self-pressures put on community leaders in Whitechapel and the continued pressures of unions trying to organise within a restricted area, this area is actually section 14 for standing up to racism, they have had a disproportionate amount of police officers here on the ground. I actually think there's more vans than there are people at this very moment at the mustering point, and that is because of the self-delusional state of the right and radical Islam. They believe that for whatever reason we have this vendetta against them, even though we're trying to legitimize our concerns about integration.
Some of this stuff off our street.
Here's the guys. As you can hear right now, the leader of the United Independence Party, Nick Tenkoni, has just arrived. Of course, there are about 15 security guards behind him because there were several threats by Islamic community leaders, and it kind of demonstrates that although this is a march of a few hundred people, there's a legitimate concern. I mean, there's more police cars than there are protesters here, that things could kick off. My suspicion is that it won't. Hello everyone, how are you doing? So I hear that some of you are from Stand Up to Racism, am I right in saying that?
We're here on an independent capacity.
I'm not trying to like get you done for the section 14, I'm just wondering what you think about the UKIP demonstration.
Everyone's entitled to protest.
But what do you think about their beliefs particularly?
I'm not going to say.
So do you agree with them, do you disagree?
I don't agree with them, obviously.
And why is that?
I just don't. I believe Britain needs immigrants.
But how many? That is the question. So when you have a net migration of over 400,000 last year, of course 10%. Pardon?
How many left?
Well, that's net, so that's more than the people leaving and currently here.
We need it. We've got jobs, we've got NHS, we've got social.
Well, actually, for every one migrant doctor that comes here, they bring 3 dependents. So the argument that technically we really need migrants for the sake of the NHS is just wrong.
You just can't have people coming here to work in your hospitals and they're not allowed to bring their family.
No, but what I mean by dependence is patience.
That's actually cruel.
No, but you're saying that the best reason why we need doctors here in the UK is to fill positions for the sake of doctors. But the reason why we have those need for doctors is because of migration. It's because we have an increased population. I mean, look, a good example of this is the fact that we can't even establish the UK population. There was a study done in Tesco's studying the food consumption of their customers, and that found that there was probably about 1 million more people than there are actually registered according to the Office of National Statistics. So the issue is an overpopulation coupled with the fact that we don't incentivize native British people to work. Just 1 second.
I didn't hear, sorry.
So, like, do you
I'm sorry, I don't, like, you know my views.
I don't actually. I've heard that you're an avid stand-up to racism activist, and I just want to know. Yeah, of course.
Because he's going into some detail, I'm trying to concentrate on that, and it's not.
Well, you're sitting away from the protest.
I'm trying to listen.
Well, okay, how about this? We can organise a discussion and debate if you want about why you believe that these people are wrong.
You know what it is? I think we go around in circles.
We can have it times. We can have a moderator.
It doesn't work because we just.
Who have you tried to debate?
We don't listen. I don't listen, and no one.
Can you name me one person?
She's a bit difficult.
I like Carl. Fine.
So look, I think debates are good, especially considering the fact that I disagree with the fact that Stand Up to Racism were banned from protesting in central London. But in an equal, hold on. Is it wrong for UKIP not to be in Whitechapel?
They can be. They were banned there as well.
Okay, so we both agree that discussion and having 2 ideas clash on the street is a good thing.
That the police also, they're saying that we were banned here, you guys were banned there, because they want to avoid conflict and trouble.
And why was there conflict? Was because local community leaders, actually there were several, they even admitted that in the council itself of Tower Hamlets they were threatening to protest, and that was of course a dog whistle.
Oh, come on.
Pardon?
Could cause trouble there. That's not fair on the community.
Have you seen the average demonstrator for UKIP?
Community safe, correct?
Have you
keep
seen the
everyone
average
safe.
demonstrator for UKIP? They hardly have the most violent tendencies compared to, for example, when I was at a Pink Ladies March for Tower Hamlets just the other week. I got called a terrorist and gotten threatened to slit my throat by a few of the locals there at Tower Hamlets.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got it on recording.
I don't know. But you need to take that to the police, because everyone deserves to be safe.
Yeah.
The community deserves to be feeling safe. All of us do. But we also are entitled to march peacefully. Everyone.
And that wasn't going to happen if you have local community leaders saying,
No, that's
brother,
not true.
this
That's
is
not
going
true.
to be a day
That's
to
not true.
remember.
That's not true.
They were comparing
No,
them
that's
marching
not
down
true.
Whitechapel to the Battle of
community
Cable
weren't safe.
Street.
The community weren't
You have
safe.
MPs arguing that this is the
No.
far right.
No, they got UKIP all the far
No,
right.
they're not.
Please, come on.
Okay, what do you classify as
Come
far
on.
right?
I'm not gonna go into that.
So you just want to give a colloquialism without a definition?
No, because I'm
How
not
about
gonna-
this? You're a Nazi rapist, and I'm not going to give the definition of any of those terms.
I don't. You can say what you want.
But
We're
that's
all
considered a form
I
of
wouldn't go
libel.
there, I wouldn't go there. 'Cause
It's
not-
considered
I'm
a
not
form
saying
of
anything.
libel.
I'm saying nothing.
Uh,
All I'm saying
You
is
you
we
understand
all
that you
deserve
are
to feel
contributing to
safe.
the destruction of
We
a
all
westernized
deserve-
democracy.
We all deserve to feel safe, and we're in a country where we all deserve to protest and have freedom of speech peacefully. But we mustn't make other communities feel unsafe.
Like,
And
including the people like
and
there.
And the police also deserve to avoid conflict and trouble and violence.
Do you agree
So-
that the right deserve to be safe, and when you libel them as the next generation of Nazis,
I
of
don't
course
know.
that doesn't make them...
She raised speaks loads online, man.
Who is she? That's Lalinda, apparently a famous left-leaning activist. I have no idea who these gremlins are. You know what I mean? It's not my fault. I mean, this is clearly a publicity stunt to waste the time of 4 officers to escort her out. If we were to go to Whitechapel, not only would you have to pick up my remains across East London, you would also be arresting me. Well, that's Larinda, everyone. The famous far-left activist.
There's only one in Tentoni. There's only one.
Speaker's Corner is sort of this form of debate, civil discourse, and unfortunately the Islamic Brotherhood and our good friends on the left don't really want to see that. In fact, they're trying everything to have paid agitators here to make sure to threaten local communities to riot, to make sure that this protest here today doesn't actually happen.
Walking alone, singing a song, walking into Wonderland.
Nick Tenconi, the leader of the UK Independence Party, is right now undergoing a rebranding. He's more focusing towards Christian nationalism, of course. Traditionally in the 1990s it ran off a Eurocentric platform, which you don't really need anymore considering Brexit is done. I guess maybe when a lot more, Welsh and Scottish independence parties kind of then begin to try to separate from the union, you can kind of have that discussion. However, right now Nick is more focusing. He said that a lot of the radicalized Arabs that live in Knightsbridge pose an issue in terms of integration, and he's now also right now discussing on the Manchester synagogue attack. As a form of recap, what's happened here is that Antifa and Stand Up to Racism actually attempted to do an organised counter-protest in synthesis with Whitechapel here in Speaker's Corner. Now, unfortunately, the area was Section 14, which means there are little outposts of Antifa thugs still trying to antagonise the UKIP demonstrators.
Never forget, on Remembrance Sunday, never forget, fast approaching Remembrance Sunday, never forget, we're taking it all back.
Lest we forget.
Right, Tom, I think it's time we did.
So the UKIP demonstration is just towards its end. We've just marched through Speaker's Corner, and a great thing about this is that the courtesy has been reciprocated when it comes to the Met's response to the supposed potentially violent protest. They've stood down, stand up to racism and Antifa, even though they threatened to kind of chump the UKIP protests down Knightsbridge. And of course the demographic of the surrounding Edgware Road and Speaker's Corner is just predominantly upper class Saudi Arabs who are very peaceful. In fact, they're the only real integratable Muslims because they understand the threat of dangerous integration, because of course they're the ones who export a bunch of radical Islamists here to the UK.
You shithole! Get out the fucking crowd!
Oh, he took his mask off.
Get the fuck out!
Leave him. Pompey, leave him.
Come on! Get out the fucking way! You dickhead! Wait! Left wing scum!
Home time. On left wing. Ball. My young man.
Bye bye! Bye bye! Bye bye! Deportation! Deportation!
Sorry, mate.
Right, are you here for the protest?
Lefty scum! Off our streets!
Hello, my friend. How you doing?
Get him out!
Why are you wearing a face covering? Huh? Why are you wearing a face covering?
Get him out! Get him out!
Terrorist scum! Off our streets! Terrorist scum! Off our streets! Get back!
Move back! Move back! Move Hold on! Hold on! Everyone stand back! Hold on!
I haven't been able to record the full thing, but what had happened is a gentleman had been threatened to slit his throat by the masked man who the police were escorting out. Then of course, because of the fact that he was just being escorted, they weren't really trying to charge him. A lot of people were responding in a provocative way, in which case we've now have 3 police vans behind us, you know. Yeah, well, they're running down now. Yeah, so as you can tell, quite comedically so, I've just been beamed in the face for no reason. It was a family, her mother was encouraging it, and I think this is the generation that we're raising. The fact is that people genuinely believe that the next generation of fascists are marching down to Marble Arch for no reason whatsoever, beyond the fact that they disagree with them. I think the divisiveness on the left is more in line with the fascists of 1940s Germany than, of course, the right are. I think we're incredibly civil. We're the ones who kind of evolved civil discourse, but unfortunately, these people here are violent dogs. Beans, that's just a waste of food, and considering the left talk about wealth inequality, I majorly appreciate that fact.